Amanda Belke. I am a performance and life design coach, and I recently wrote up an article about this yearly road trip I take. And it got published on the Huffington Post, which I am super excited about. The link is below, so if you want to check it out, you can. It's the top 6 lessons I learned on a solo road trip. And so, since I wrote that, I've gotten a lot of questions about that trip I took. And I actually just got back from my yearly road trip, and for this year, a few days ago. And so, instead of the top 6 lessons, I have the top 12, which was supposed to be only 10, but 2 of them I just couldn't leave out. So, anyways, I was going to share that experience with you. So, lowdown on this road trip that I take. It's basically, I take just a few days, in like about 3 days, and I pack everything up, I get my playlists, I get everything else I need, and I just drive, and I see where I end up, and it is the best experience I have ever done. I mean, maybe not ever, but it's right up there. And so, anyways, I encourage you all to do it. I think it's a great time. This time I actually just got outside of Des Moines, so I left on Saturday and I drove through and I stayed at a hotel that night, and then did some exploring, and then I ended up back on Monday night. And so it wasn't too long, but it was really great. And so I was going to share the top 12 lessons I learned, life lessons I learned on this trip. So number 1 is take time to view something that you've never fully seen before. So what this entails is, when I was driving, I think it was Saturday night, I was driving along the sunset. And how many of you have actually taken the time to watch the entire sunset from beginning to end? Do you know it changes like 4 to 5 different shades when it's setting? And each shade is so different and it's so beautiful. And I've spent 26 years of my life never experiencing one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. And it was in Iowa, and it was still beautiful. And so anyways, that is one thing. Stop and take notice of those beautiful things in life, because it's so worth it and we don't take enough time for it. Number 2 is show genuine appreciation for yourself and for others. So this stems from, on my road trip, I make a bucket list of a bunch of generic things I'm going to do. One of the things on the list is go out to dinner by myself, like a sit-down dinner. You know that like a lot of people aren't comfortable with that. I wasn't at first either, and this was one of the best dinners I have ever been on. It was at this cute little place. It was, what was it? It was like a wine steak place, and it was like a supper club type setting. I had a little candlelit corner booth, and it was, I mean, it was really cute inside. And I had the best chicken I have ever had in my life. Like, the best. And I was like, this is a really good meal. And so I told the waiter, I was like, can you let the chef know? Like, this is incredible. And then I thought to myself, why have I never told anyone, why have I never told anyone that in the past when I have a really good meal? Like, this chef is talented. Why have I not taken the time to let them know that? You know, they spend all their days doing that, and to just actually have someone send their regards back to the chef, like, why not? It didn't take any time for me, and I'm sure it made their day. So, that is one thing. The second thing with that dinner is my waiter. He was awesome. He was just on top of everything. And so instead of just leaving a good tip, I wrote a note. Like, why not let them know on the receipt or whatever, or tell them to their face that they did an awesome job. So that is another thing with my trip. Just let others know your appreciation for them. Take the time to do it. Number 3, when you have no expectations of where you're going or when you need to get there, There is no need to use the passing lane or the passing zone in life. Why pass through life when you can explore the journey and really enjoy the journey? And that's all I have to say is I did not need the passing lane at all on my trip, and it was the best feeling. Like, I got nowhere to be. I can just, when I get there and I can experience everything along the way, and I wasn't in a rush, and I was noticing everything around me. So don't use the passing lane in life. Actually experience life. Number 4, stop comparing your chapter in life to someone else's. So what I mean by this is, I was thinking about, you meet so many different people in life. Everyone has a different life path. Everyone is, different ages, whatnot, different backgrounds. And yet, I know I've had this conversation with multiple people, and we're always comparing ourselves. Like, it's impossible not to compare yourself, but then I think about, why would I compare my chapter 26 to someone else's chapter 42? That makes no sense. No chapter is going to be the same, because quite honestly, if you're reading a book and 2 chapters are the same, that's boring. No one wants to read the exact same chapter. No chapters should be the exact same. No book should be the exact same. Because honestly, if you have 2 chapters or 2 books the exact same, isn't that copyright infringement or illegal? So anyways, be the author of your own story. Don't worry about if your chapter is the same or not, because you don't want to be the same. Number 5, sometimes the sign is so clear and simple, you just can't ignore it when you see the sign. So what I mean by this is, this one is by far my favorite, because when I was in this little small town in Iowa, I was going through this shop, and the shop owner, Ralphine, started talking to me, and she was telling me all about her story and about the store and how she'd been in business for 38 years and all about the town. And as I was shopping around, I found this cute little Christmas ornament, because everyone knows I love Christmas. And so anyways, it's like, oh, I kind of want to get something more to support her. She's been talking to me for a while and whatnot, but I wanted it to be something that actually means something. I didn't want to just buy anything. And so I walked around the store, and I walked around, and I went through that store 3 times looking for something, and I couldn't find anything else I wanted. Like, it was a cute store, but I just didn't have a need for anything. And so finally I came across this shelf with these different chip dips recipes and what. I'm like, oh, well, I'll for sure use those, so I'll just get a few of those and call it good and move on. But then I decided to look at the shelf next to it, just one last time, and I looked, and I saw this jar, and this jar was called Anime Sweet Smoky Barbecue Sauce. And anyone who knows me knows I am very close with my grandma, who lives up here in the cities, and her name happens to be Anime. First name, Anime. Not only have I never met anyone else with the full first name of Anime, but it was spelled the exact same way, and it was on barbecue sauce. And on top of that, my grandma is, and her family, she is known for her meatloaf, meatballs. And when I asked about this jar of barbecue sauce, I go, Ralphine, is this any good? And she goes, oh, it's so good. My sister gets it all the time. She uses it with her meatloaf. I was like, so now I get to give my grandma Anime some of Anime's sweet smoky barbecue sauce for her meatballs, and I cannot wait to give her that. And it was just so clear. As soon as I saw it, I was like, I have to get this. This is exactly it. And whereas everything else, I was like, oh, I don't want to get that, or I'm not feeling that. Oh, dead on. I knew that was it.